Hi guys, so this is going to be a video on how to remove the door card from the driver's side front door of the Lexus LS430. It's similar on all the other doors as well, so you'll be able to do them all. So all you'll need is a Phillips head screwdriver like that, and a flathead one or a pry tool or something similar, just to pry off some plastic trim bits. So to start, you need to pry this bit here. This bit here in the middle comes out. You can kind of see like that. Pry that off like that. Just to get it out. Like that. And also the window switches. So they pry. All you need to do is, you can kind of see where I've done it before. You pry down here and up like that. So in and up. Now I'm going to put a rag over my screwdriver so I don't scratch the trim there. So I've got my screwdriver wedged under there, and you just pry up like that, and it pops out. You can see that it's come out. Just put it up and out, and if you put it back, the hook on this side will come out as well. And then there's just one big clip there, so you just pull that, push that down there, and you can see that it's come off. Just put that to the side, make sure it doesn't get scratched, and then you can put this one back in here for now. So you can see reveal one screw there, and if you look on the door pocket, you can see just above it there's a screw just there, so it's just about there. So there's that screw and one there. All of the screws on the door are Phillips head, but a few of them have sort of hex bolts around the outside. If you use an 8mm, you can actually use a socket to get them as well. You see that one there's got a sort of socket surround, but I'm just going to use a Phillips head. Keep it simple. Now we just stick your screwdriver in there and undo it. If you drop the bolt, don't worry too much, because when you take the door card off, you'll be able to see it. So I've currently got 4 bolts out. One from in there, one in by the door handle, one below where the window switches were, and the one just above the door pocket thing. Once you've done those 4, there are 3 more, and they are hiding underneath the inner bottom rubber trim. So you can see that's the rubber trim, and there's a bolt hiding. You can kind of feel it under there. You see that one there, just to the back of the light. One there, one there, and one there. Easy way to find them is just to run your hand underneath the rubber and you'll feel the bolts. So you just undo those. Okay, so you should have 7 bolts out now in total, and after you've done that, all that's left to do is pull the sort of the door card off. So if your door card's not been off for for a long time or ever, then it will be very stiff. The clips might be quite brittle, so don't worry. You're not going to break it. As long as you pull from the bottom, you might snap a clip. It should be okay. So all you need to do is grab from the bottom somewhere along here and just pull like that. You go from the 2 bottom corners and just give it a big pull like that. The bottom should come off. It should flap around like that. So all that's holding it on now is a sort of hook along here. Just hooks on top of the door like most door cards. So to get that off, you just pull it up by the door handle like that. And you can see now that mine is loose. I've just lost the clip there. And then it should all come off like that. Okay, so once you've got the card loose, there's a few connectors you need to remove. So the first thing to do is to remove the two clips here that are for the lock and the handle. So you pull this up on both of them, and then you just unlatch it from the little hook it's in, this little ball. So you can see there, you're just pulling it out and up like that. Once you've done that, you'll have a little bit more freedom. There are 3 connectors up the top. 1, 2, 3. Just unlatch them. 1, 2. There we are. That's the third one. Just have this wiring harness off now. And the only thing you got left is the small one at the bottom. So to do that, you can move the door card around a little bit more. You can see this one's for the light at the bottom. This one's a little bit more fiddly. It's very small and it's recessed a little bit. You can see it's out like that. And then you've got the door card, and there's the inner door. So you can see 2 latches for the lock and the door opening, the airbag module, and this door skin. It's important to keep this all sealed when you put the door card back on, because it will let in condensation and it will flood the car if you're not careful. I've had that before in a previous car. You can have access to your window regulator, so all these bolts here, and probably more likely the speaker, which I've already refoamed mine, so that will give you access to all of those. Now make sure when you're reconnecting your door card, when you're putting it back on, that all your clips are in place. So there's 4 clips, you can see them. 1, 2, 3, and my one that fell off, so I'm going to put that one back in as well. So if any come out, to make sure you put them all in. Now the first thing to connect up is probably this one, this long one for the light at the bottom. That's probably the first one to connect because it's really fiddly and you've got a bit of length on this wire, so it gives you a bit more freedom. Now, as you saw earlier, it's kind of recessed in here. Upside down view, let's turn it around. It's kind of recessed in here. So what you can actually do, instead of trying to fit it straight into the door card, is use your flathead screwdriver to pry the light out of its place. You can see if you do that, pry onto that tab there, you can pull it from the other side and take the light out. If you take the light out, then you can just thread the connector through the door and connect it later. So that's what I'm going to do, makes it a bit easier. So first thing to do then is thread that wire through here, so you can connect that up in a minute like that. Then I'd probably connect all the other electrical wires. Remember, this big one is for the window switches, so it doesn't actually have to go in yet. And then just connect up all the connectors there. So there's 3 of them. Two. Last one in there. once you've done that, it's a case of putting those back on their little hooks there. So the white one goes on top and the other one is on the bottom. So you can see the ball is hooked in there, the wire's gone through there out to that one, and then the top one is the same. Just put the ball in there and then it goes back like that. So you've got them two slotted in, 1, 2, to their little ball things. As well, when you just before you latch it on, put the window switch connector through there so you can get to it when you put the door card back on. Once all your connectors are in, just basically latch the door card back on the top and that'll hold it in place then. So you can see it's latched on and now it's pushed down. So now it's latched on. Here is maybe a good idea to just clip your window switch back in, start the car, or run the car, and check that the window still goes down, that the memory seat things are still working, and there are no lights on the dash, because you don't want to put all the door card back on and then realise that you've not connected it up properly. So after this, probably the best thing to do is to put the light back on as well and make sure the light is working too. So you can see here the connector is just down here. It's not quite gone through all the way. There it is. And then my light, the thing fell off, but that's fine. It just clips back on, connects it back in like that, and the light has come back on. Once that's done, stick the light in, like so. So that light's all fine, and I'm just going to assume mine works, but check before you bolt it all back on. One important thing to note is when you thread this window clip through in here, you can see there's this big plastic clip here. Make sure it's behind that clip and it comes through behind it, not in front of it, because otherwise when you put your window switches in, the clip's at the back and it goes over the top. So if the clip's coming through here, it won't work. So it's towards the rear, or if you're looking at the door, just on the right hand side. Make sure it's through that bigger gap, not the smaller one. Make sure as well, before you put any bolts in or any screws in, just push your 4 clips in. So one there, one down the bottom there, one a bit further up here, and then one on the bottom here as well. So you can see all the clips are in, and it's now flush down there. So then you can get your bolts in, and then all that's left to do is put that one, those two, and the bottom 3 back in. The order I'd do it is these big shiny ones first. They go by the window switches there, and underneath here. So you can see they're the ones that are nearest the armrest for extra strength. So put those ones in first. Now when you put them in, I wouldn't tighten them all the way, because it will allow you just to wiggle the door card around a bit if you need to line up bolts, like that for example. So after that, the next one to go in is the solo one that's got round with no hex on it, so that's the leftover bolt, and that goes in by the door handle. then just leave it slightly loose like that, just so you can move around. And then you should have 4 bolts that are the same. 3 of them go along the bottom by the seal, and 1 goes in here. When you do this one, be careful, because if you drop it, you'll have to take the door card off again, which will make your life more painful. So this is where the 8mm socket can help, because you can kind of use the socket to hold the bolt like that, which a screwdriver will technically do as well, but it's a lot more difficult. So get that one in. See there, still loose. And then your thrill on the bottom, you can see. And once you've tightened all your screws, there's 2 things to clip in. You've got this little thing. You can see how it screws in there, it clips in there. So put the front in first, and then clip the back in. So you can see. Open the door handle a bit when you do it as well. Might help. Put the front in, and then push the back in like that. Should clip in quite nicely. And finally, the window switches. So the switch should be out like this. The connector, just clip it in. Like that. And then put the front in first. So put it as far back as it will go. Clip the front end first. Lift the back out. Push the front in like that. Slide it across, and then you can push the back down, and it should push it towards the door if it doesn't fit, and then in like that. And there you have it. The door card is back on, and all the functions are still working. If you have any questions or any advice, then please leave them in the comments. Thanks.